Hello everyone, mabuhay! You're about to watch Research Lecture Series. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so that you will be notified with the upcoming series. You may also share the link to your students, classmates, or friends. Enjoy watching!
In this video lecture, I will cover the basic research writing conventions, referencing, and searching relevant literature. This will culminate with an activity as an application of the topics covered. The topics that will be covered in this video lecture are the following: research writing conventions, referencing materials or sources, and searching relevant literature in open access journals and books. Research writing conventions. Although the publication manual addresses many aspects of grammar and usage, it focuses on the areas that are the most problematic for writers of scholarly work, as emphasized in the 7th edition of the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association, 2020. Incorrect grammar and careless construction of sentences distract readers, introduce ambiguity, and impede clear communication, as noted in the guidelines outlined within APA manual. Another recommendation by APA is to check for spelling and grammar errors using the automatic spell check and grammar check functions of your word processing program. Verb tenses. In academic writing, maintaining consistency in verb tenses is paramount for clarity and coherence. Use verb tenses consistently and stay within the chosen tense to ensure smooth expression, as advised by APA 2020. Sudden, unnecessary shifts in verb tense, in the same paragraph or in adjacent paragraphs, may confuse readers, according to the guidelines provided in APA. To facilitate effective communication, authors are encouraged to use the verb tenses shown in Table 4.1 to report information in various parts of the paper, as specified in the manual. By adhering to these guidelines, writers can enhance the readability and comprehensibility of their academic work, thereby strengthening the overall impact of their research. Table 4.1. Recommended verb tenses in APA-style papers. For literature review, or whenever discussing other researchers' work, use past and present perfect tense. An example of past tense is Queen, 2020, presented. The given example of present perfect is since then, many investigators have used. For method and description of procedures, use past and present perfect tense. An example of past tense is participants completed a survey. The given example of present perfect is others have used similar approaches. In reporting of results, use past tense only. Example, results were non-significant. Scores increased. Hypotheses were supported. For discussion of implications of results, use present tense. For example, the results indicate. For presentation of conclusions, limitations, future directions, and so forth, use present tense. The examples provided are, we conclude, limitations of the study are. Subject and verb agreement. The APA 2019 manual provides only one subject and verb agreement, which is a verb must agree in number, for instance, singular or plural, with its subject, regardless of intervening phrases, such as together with, including, plus, and as well as. Examples: correct, the percentage of correct responses, as well as the speed of the responses, increases with practice. Incorrect, the percentage of correct responses, as well as the speed of the responses, increase with practice. The second sentence is incorrect because the subject of the sentence, the percentage of correct responses, as well as the speed of the responses, is singular, so the verb should also be singular. In this case, increases is the correct singular form of the verb. The use of as well as does not change the singular subject-verb agreement. According to the APA manual, collective nouns can refer to several individuals or to a single unit. Example, a series, set, faculty, pair, social media. The guidelines also specify that, if the action of the verb applies to the group as a whole, treat the noun as singular, and use a singular verb. Furthermore, if the action of the verb applies to members of the group as individuals, treat the noun as plural, and use a plural verb. For example, it is correct to say, the percentage of correct responses, as well as the speed of the responses, increases with practice. However, it would be incorrect to say, the percentage of correct responses, as well as the speed of the responses, increase with practice. The use of non. The APA manual explains that the subject pronoun, non, can be singular or plural. When the noun that follows it is singular, use a singular verb. When the noun is plural, use a plural verb. For instance, when used in a singular context, it is correct to say, none of the information was correct. In a plural context, it would be appropriate to say, none of the children were finished in the time allotted. Compound subjects joined by or, nor. The APA manual advises that, when a compound subject is composed of a singular and a plural noun, joined by or, nor, the verb agrees with the noun that is closer to the verb. For example, it is correct to say, neither the participants nor the confederate was in the room. Similarly, it is correct to say, neither the confederate nor the participants were in the room. However, it would be incorrect to say, neither the participants nor the confederate were in the room. Active and passive voices. The publication manual of the American Psychological Association recommends the use of active voice as much as possible to create direct, clear, and concise sentences. Voice describes the relationship between a verb and the subject and object associated with it. In the active voice, the subject of a sentence is presented first, followed by the verb, and then the object of the verb, e.g., students completed surveys. In the passive voice, the object of the verb is presented first, followed by the verb, usually a form of to be plus past participle, plus the word by, and then the subject last, e.g., surveys were completed by students. Sometimes, the subject is omitted altogether, resulting in confusion about who is performing the action. For example, use the active voice to describe the actions of participants and others involved in your study, as in, the patients took the medication orally, not, the medication was taken orally by the patients. To further illustrate, the researcher gave the questionnaire to the participants is an example of active voice. In contrast, the questionnaire was given to the participants by the researcher is passive voice. Active voice highlights the researcher as the one performing the action, whereas passive voice directs attention towards the questionnaire as the recipient, rather than the initiator of the action. Declarative sentence. Direct declarative sentences with simply common words are usually best. Says APA 2020. In writing a research manuscript, declarative sentences are preferred for their clarity and directness in conveying information. The following are examples of sentences across the four types. Declarative sentence. The experimental results indicate a statistically significant correlation between variables x and y. Interrogative sentence. How does the inclusion of variable z affect the overall outcome of the experiment? Imperative sentence. Further investigation into this phenomenon is warranted to elucidate its underlying mechanisms. Exclamatory sentence. Remarkably, the observed effect exceeds our initial expectations. Conciseness. The APA manual explains that the main objective of scholarly writing is clear communication, which can be achieved by presenting ideas in an orderly and concise manner. When it comes to writing, it is advised to be brief and make each sentence maximally informative, especially the lead sentence. It is emphasized that one should say only what needs to be said in your writing. The author who is more concise, that is, more frugal with words, writes a more readable paper. Furthermore, it's noted that authors seeking publication and students completing assignments increase their chances of success when they write concisely. Sentence length. In ATA style, there is no minimum or maximum sentence length. However, overuse of short, simplest sentences produces choppy prose, while overuse of long, involved sentences results in difficult, sometimes incomprehensible language. It's advised to avoid including multiple ideas in a single sentence. Instead, break the sentence into shorter ones. Short words and sentences are noted to be easier to comprehend than long ones. A long technical term, however, may be more precise than several short words, and technical terms are inseparable from scientific reporting. Paragraph length. According to APA manual, paragraphs that are too long, i.e., longer than one double-spaced manuscript page, risk losing readers' attention. It's advised to avoid including multiple ideas in a single sentence. Instead, break the sentence into shorter ones. Furthermore, a new paragraph signals a shift to a new idea and provides a pause for readers, a chance to assimilate one step in the conceptual development before beginning another. Clarity. It is paramount that, in scholarly writing, sound organizational structure is the key to clear, precise, and logical communication. Additionally, in combination, conciseness and clarity in your writing ensure that readers understand your meaning. Furthermore, it's crucial to recognize that overly decorative language is not a suitable style. Moreover, when using expressive language, use figurative expressions with restraint and colorful expressions with care, because these expressions can be open to interpretation and even cultural differences. They generally do not add to understanding for all possible readers. Tone. Strive for a professional tone and professional language, aiming to convey expertise and credibility. It's essential to use language that conveys professionalism and formality, ensuring that the writing maintains a polished and serious demeanor. Furthermore, it's crucial to avoid heavy alliteration, rhyming, poetic expressions, and clichés, as this can detract from the professionalism of the writing. Additionally, when incorporating metaphors, use metaphors sparingly. Although they can help simplify complicated ideas, metaphors can also be distracting or unclear, necessitating careful consideration of their usage to maintain clarity and focus. Contractions and colloquialisms. Avoid using contractions and colloquialisms, which detract from a professional tone in scholarly writing. It is imperative to adhere to this guideline to maintain the formal and authoritative nature expected in academic discourse. Remember to use cannot instead of can, as the former enhances the formality of the text. Likewise, it's essential to avoid colloquialisms, which are informal expressions used in everyday speech and writing to uphold the standards of scholarly communication. Furthermore, use to report instead of to write up and going to instead of gonna to ensure clarity and precision in conveying ideas within academic contexts. Jargon. Jargon is specialized terminology that is unfamiliar to those outside a specific group, often serving as a form of insider language used to communicate efficiently within the community, according to APA 2020. The same manual adds that a paper with too much jargon or terminology familiar to only a few specialists, does not sufficiently contribute to the literature, because its meaning is obfuscated. It further explains that, the overuse of jargon, even in papers in which that vocabulary is relevant, hinders comprehension. To address the issue, the technical terms in a paper should be either readily understood by readers, across disciplines, or defined for readers, who may be unfamiliar with them. Jargon also may be euphemistic, if substituted for a familiar term, example, period of economic adjustment, instead of recession. Gender-neutral pronouns. The publication manual of APA 2019 suggests the use of gender-neutral pronouns. It warns, do not use he or she alone, as a generic third-person pronoun. Use he or she and she or his sparingly, and ensure that these pronouns match the pronouns of the people being described. If you do not know the pronouns used by the people being described, use they instead, or rewrite the sentence. Do not use the combination forms, she and she or alternate he and she, unless you know that a person uses these forms. These choices may have unintentional implications. If the singular they as a generic third-person pronoun seems awkward or distracting, try one of the following strategies to rewrite the sentence. See next page. The following are the strategies provided in the manual of APA 2029. The first strategy is rephrasing. Gender neutral. When an individual attends psychotherapy, that person can improve emotional regulation. Therapy can help an individual improve emotional regulation. The gender-biased counterpart. When an individual attends psychotherapy, she can improve emotional regulation. The second strategy is using plural nouns or plural pronouns. Gender neutral. Therapists who are too much like their clients can lose their objectivity. The gender-biased counterpart. A therapist who is too much like his client can lose his objectivity. The third strategy is replacing the pronoun with an article. Gender neutral. A researcher must apply for the grant by September 1. The gender-biased counterpart. A researcher must apply for his grant by September 1. The fourth strategy is dropping the pronoun. Gender neutral. The researcher must avoid letting biases and expectations influence the interpretation of the results. The gender-biased counterpart. The researcher must avoid letting her own biases and expectations influence the interpretation of the results. Transitions. Transitions serve as the bridge, from one sentence to another, or from one paragraph to the next, seamlessly guiding the reader through the flow of ideas. To improve continuity and flow in your writing, check transitions between sentences, paragraphs, and ideas to ensure that the text is smooth and clear, rather than abrupt or disjointed. As suggested by APA 2020. Also, transitional words and phrases help maintain the flow of ideas, especially when the material is complex or abstract. Finally, use adverbs judiciously, as introductory or transitional words. Example, adverbs such as, certainly, consequently, conversely, fortunately, importantly, interestingly, more importantly, regrettably, and similarly. Here are examples of transitions. Transitional words or phrases for addition. Furthermore, moreover, additionally, in addition, besides. Example. Furthermore, the study also indicated a significant correlation between diet and overall health. Transitional words, phrases for contrast. However, nevertheless, on the other hand, conversely, in contrast. Example. However, despite the promising results, further research is needed to validate these findings. Transitional words, phrases for comparison. Similarly, likewise, in the same way, just as. Example. Just as exercise is crucial for physical health, mental stimulation is vital for cognitive well-being. Transitional words or phrases for cause and effect. Consequently, therefore, thus, as a result, hence. Example. As a result of the economic downturn, many businesses were forced to downsize their workforce. Transitional words or phrases for time sequence. Meanwhile, next, afterwards, subsequently, finally. Example. Subsequently, the company launched a new product line, aimed at capturing a younger demographic. Transitional words or phrases for illustration, example, for instance, for example, to illustrate, specifically. Example, to illustrate, consider the case of renewable energy, which has seen a dramatic increase in investment over the past decade. Transitional words or phrases for conclusion, in conclusion, to summarize, ultimately, in summary, overall. Example, ultimately, the success of the project hinges on effective communication and collaboration among team members. Referencing materials and sources. Cataloging of research results also requires referencing. Referencing periodicals follow the pattern. Name of authors, date of publication, title of the periodical, the name of publisher, and the DOI, or URL. The first example has DOI, or Digital Object Identifier. In this example, the authors' names are listed first, followed by the year of publication in parentheses. The title of the article is in sentence case, followed by the name of the journal, not in italics. The volume number 19 is followed by the issue number 4, in parentheses, and the page range of the article 67 to 68 is listed after that. Finally, the DOI is included, which starts with https://doi.org/ and then the unique identifier 10.26803 ijlter.19.4.5. The second example does not have DOI, but it has URL, or Uniform Resource Locator. It is also written in the same manner, but the DOI is replaced with URL. Referencing of books follow the pattern. Name of authors, date of publication, title of the book, the name of publisher, and the DOI or URL. The format in referencing periodicals is also used in referencing books. But books do not require to include the page range, unlike the periodicals. Note that citing author's name starts with family name, initial of the first name, and initial of the middle name. If there are more than one authors, the conjunction ampersand is used, and not the spelled end. Referencing a book chapter can be more tedious. It follows the pattern. Name of authors, date of publication, title of the chapter, names of the editors. Followed by the title of the book, the volume and pages, the name of publisher and the DOI or URL. Unlike in referencing a book chapter requires the page range. Note the differences in citing author's name starts with family name, initial of the first name and initial of the middle name, while the editor's name starts with initial of name. Initial of middle name, surname. The preposition in should be written before the editor's names. Referencing dictionary, thesaurus, or encyclopedia follow the pattern, name of the author, year of publication, title of the dictionary, thesaurus, or encyclopedia, date of publication, date when it was retrieved and the URL. Example. Merriam-Webster. ND. Merriam-Webster.com Dictionary. Retrieved May 5, 2019, from https://www.merriam-webster.com/. ND stands for no date, which means that dates are not provided by the publisher. Note the period punctuation mark at the end of name of dictionary. Referencing magazine follow the pattern. Name of authors, date of publication, title of the article, the name of the magazine, and the DOI or URL. In referencing magazine, the author's name is listed first, followed by the date of publication, in parentheses. The title of the article is in sentence case, followed by the name of the magazine, not in italics, the volume number, not in italics, the issue number, in parentheses, and the page numbers of the article. Referencing magazine requires the inclusion of page range. Referencing newspaper article. Referencing newspaper follow the pattern, name of authors, date of publication, title of the article, the name of the newspaper, and the DOI or URL. In referencing newspaper, the author's name is listed first, followed by the date of publication in parentheses. The title of the article is in sentence case, followed by the name of the newspaper, not in italics. Referencing dissertation or thesis from a database. This follows the pattern. Name of author, year of publication, title of the research, category of the research plus the name of school, and database address. Other databases include publication number. Referencing unpublished dissertation or thesis. This follows the pattern. Name of author, year of submission, title of the research, category PF the research. Name of school. Please note that the category, unpublished doctoral dissertation, is enclosed in brackets. Referencing web pages and websites. This follows the pattern. Name of author, date, title of work, name of website, date of retrieval, and URL. Note that the date is complete, starting with the year, month and date, while the retrieval date starts with month, date and the year. Referencing executive order. This follows the pattern, executive order number, page, year of promulgation, and URL. Referencing constitution. This follows the pattern. Name of constitution, article number, and section number. Note that article is abbreviated ART, written in lower cases, followed by the article number in a Roman numeral. For sections, use the abbreviation and Arabic numerals for the section number. Referencing a manual. This follows the pattern, author, year, title of the manual and URL. The APA Manual 2020 suggests that, when the author and publisher are the same, omit the publisher from the source element. In this example, the American Psychiatric Association is also the publisher, hence, it is not included. The reference section. The 7th edition of the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association, 2020, provides the following guidelines for the research reference section. Begin the reference list on a new page after the text. Place the section label, References, in bold at the top of the page, centered. Order the reference list entries, alphabetically by author. Double-space the entire reference list, both within and between entries. Apply a hanging indent of 0.5 inch to each reference list entry, meaning that the first line of the reference is flush left and subsequent lines are indented 0.5 inch from the left margin. Use the paragraph formatting function of your word processing program to apply the hanging indent. Here is a sample first page of the reference section from the APA manual. Note the page is a continuation of the last page of the manuscript's content. References not bibliographies. APA style generally requires reference lists, not bibliographies, distinguishing between the two formats, commonly used in academic writing. When creating references, it's essential to remember that a reference generally has 4 elements: author, date, title, and source, ensuring comprehensive documentation of sources used in the paper. However, it's crucial to choose references judiciously, and include only the works that you used in the research, for in preparation of your paper, maintaining relevance and credibility in the scholarly discourse. Furthermore, when formatting references, it's important to ensure that a period appears after each reference element. That is, after the author, date, title, and source. However, do not put a period after a DOI or URL, because it may interfere with link functionality, adhering to the specific guidelines for accurate and consistent citation practices. One or multiple authors. Group authors may include government agencies, associations, non-profit organizations, businesses, hospitals, task forces, and study groups, highlighting the diverse range of entities that can serve as authors in academic citations. In organizing the reference list, it's important to remember that one-author entries should precede multiple author entries, beginning with the same first author, even if the multiple author work was published earlier, ensuring consistency and clarity in citation order. For instance, Davison, T. E. 2019, would appear before Davison, T. E. and McCabe, M. P. 2015, in the reference list. Additionally, when a work lacks a known author, it is treated as having no author, and the title of the work is moved to the author position, followed by a period, before the date of publication, as exemplified by Generalized Anxiety Disorder, 2019. However, if the work is explicitly signed as anonymous, then anonymous should be used as the author, as shown in the example, Anonymous, 2017. 20 or more authors. The 7th edition has provided new guidelines for all reference types. That is, provide surnames and initials for up to, and including 20 authors. When there are 2 to 20 authors, use an ampersand before the final author's name. Author, A. Author, B. At author, C. All the names of the 20 authors appear in the reference entry. Between 19th and 20th author is an ampersand. When there are 21 or more authors, include the first 19 authors' names, insert an ellipsis, but no ampersand, and then add the final author's name, the manual adds. Searching relevant literature in open access journals and books. One of the most tedious tasks of research is searching for related literature. Searching for literature involves using various resources to find and evaluate relevant scholarly articles. It can be done by browsing printed materials like books, magazines, newspapers, and other published materials depending on what are allowed by the school or funding agency. It can also be done by browsing the World Wide Web, particularly databases for academic research such as virtualert.com, refseq.com, sciencedirect.com, semanticscholar.org, scholar.google.com, eric.ed.gov, academia.edu, and zendi.io, among others. For online books, snippets of book pages are provided in books.google.com and hathitrist.org. Here are some general steps you can follow to conduct a search for related literature. First, delimit your topic. Before you start searching, it's important to have a clear idea of what you're looking for. You may start with the main variable of your research. For example, in our working paper, the main variable is low research productivity of teachers. If the database does not provide any source, you may refine the topic to low research of teachers or few research of faculty and keep refining until you finally get results. Second, identify relevant databases. Depending on your research topic, there may be multiple databases that are relevant to your search. The databases provided above are good examples of relevant databases. Third, conduct a preliminary search. Use the search terms you identified to conduct a preliminary search in the selected databases. Fourth step, evaluate the results, review the titles, and abstracts of the results, to see if they are relevant to your research question or topic. Fifth step, catalog results. Once you have a list of potentially relevant articles, read the abstracts or full texts to determine their relevance to your research question or topic. You may also want to consult the reference lists of these articles to identify additional relevant sources. Remember, searching for related literature is an iterative process that may require multiple searches and revisions to your search terms. It's also important to critically evaluate the sources you find to ensure they are reliable and relevant to your research question or topic. The following steps may help you efficiently search for and document information from books on books.google.com. First, type the website address, books.google.com in the search bar of your web browser and hit enter. Second, in the search bar at the center of the landing page, type the topic you want to search for, and click the search button. Third, customize search options. Below the horizontal line, there are custom options. In the first drop-down menu, select Full View to ensure you're seeing books available in their entirety. In the second drop-down menu, select Books to filter out other types of content. In the publication year drop-down menu, select Custom Range and specify the daisy read range, in this case from 2017 to 2024. Fourth, start searching for a book. Scroll through the results and look for a book that contains the topic you're looking for. Fifth, access the relevant content. Click on the title or cover of the book that seems relevant. Navigate to the page where the topic is located. Sixth, capture information. If the book provides useful information, take a screenshot of the page. Also, take screenshots of the cover and copyright pages. Paste these screenshots into a Word document. Seventh, documentation for submission. Keep these screenshots as attachments to the Word document. This documentation may be requested by your research advisor for submission. Conduct a search for relevant information in the following open access journal. These journals provide full research articles that are downloadable. Searching here is similar to the search process on books.google.com. Keep a copy of the downloaded articles for documentation. As much as possible, highlight the information in sentences or paragraphs for easy reference. Here now is the activity. Let us now proceed to Activity 1. Using the databases provided in the previous slide, catalog search results of related literature and studies in the right column of the activity sheet. Examples are provided in red font for easy reference. The question in this activity requires you to conduct survey of related literature and studies on what was already known or written about the same problem from the literature, such as books, magazines, newspapers and previous studies. For this activity, you just write the surnames of the authors, the year in parentheses, semicolon, the statements directly lifted, with open and end quotes, the page number in parentheses, and a period punctuation. Also, list the references below the table, with a label, References. Follow the standards of referencing previously discussed. If you are working on a research project as a group, assign each member one open access website to avoid duplication. See to it that one member is assigned to books.google.com. Each member should accomplish one activity sheet with at least 5 relevant citations to be collected on the date of submission. This shall be processed in the next Writeshop. You may pause the video until you are done with this activity.
That ends our research lecture series for today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, and share the link to your students, classmates, or friends. Thank you for watching.